What's up everybody? Today we're going to do an install on a 60 amp hour eco battery, but before we get going I wanted to give you guys a quick size comparison of the 60 amp hour eco compared to its 105 amp hour brother. I had this one in the cart prior to this install that we're doing today. Just wanted to give you guys a quick size comparison and showing you what these batteries look like side by side. 60 amp hour is slightly taller than the 105, but the 105 is a little bit wider. Definitely heavier as well. 105 is installed a little differently than the 60 amp hour. This 105 you use the through hole setup. But today in the 60 amp hour we're going to use these brackets here at the bottom. We're going to utilize the end holes on these brackets. All right, let's get this installed. Prior to your eco battery install, I recommend cleaning out the battery bay. A lot of times underneath the lead acid batteries, the battery bay gets really munged up, really dirty. We just had a eco 105 installed a couple months ago, so battery bay is still decently clean. As you can see, we have the charger, we have the voltage reducer and a fuse block already installed, along with most of the wiring already ran. I noticed here with the 60 amp hour battery, we're gonna have to put it here on the driver's side of the battery bay. If not, I'm gonna have to extend the positive negative cables in order to reach over to the passenger side. But typically, I'd like to put these on the passenger side just to have some weight distribution when you're the only guy on the cart. But all right, let's get to this install. All right, so a lot of you will be wanting to put your cabling through the floorboard up into the dash, kind of like how I did here. In order to do so, you're going to have to take off a few of the bolts for the body. You're going to take off the two front body bolts to lift it up. You're going to have to take off the screws for the rocker panel so that way you can pull the floor mat up. And you're also going to have to pull this ring off the charging port. And you're going to have to do that to also replace it with this eco charger. You're going to need a pick. You stick it right in the sides here of this charging port. You'll feel it click, you'll hear it. Comes off pretty easy. Be careful because you can break it. Okay, so we got the new eco plug port installed. Very simple. Again, you got the 3 Phillips head screws, and now you want to come back into the battery bay, and you'll see here coming off the charger, which we've already mounted into the battery bay, you're going to have a quick connect. Once you snap those quick connects together, your plug port's installed. You'll be able to reinstall your front rocker panel. So when you're hooking up your voltage converter, you're going to need to find the keyed power coming off of the back of your key switch. It's pretty easy to figure out. You're going to want to have a basic multimeter, put it on the DC volt setting. Take your negative lead and put it to the negative terminal of the battery. The positive lead is going to go on one of the lines coming off the back of the key switch. We touch the green line, we get 52 volts. Go over to the blue line, we have nothing. But if I turn the cart back on, retest the blue line, now I have 52 volts at it. Recheck the green, back to 52. Shut the cart back off, recheck the blue line, 0 volts again. So that tells us our blue line coming off the back of the key switch is our keyed power. So this is the line you're going to want to connect to. Now the voltage converter comes with a ring terminal on the end of it. In order to connect to the back of the key switch, you're going to have to cut this off, and you're going to want to use a quick splice connector to connect up to this blue line. But if this is not something you wanted to do, you can hook this to the positive terminal of your battery. But once you do that, your accessories see power at all times. In order to cut the power to your accessories, you're gonna have to physically power the battery off. All right, we got the Eco battery in the battery bay. I got my terminals pointing toward the rear of the cart. That way I can ensure my cabling is gonna reach. To do this install, you're gonna need a nice extension. I have 2 of them put together to give me the length I need. You got an 8mm socket for the lag bolts that you're gonna use to bolt the battery down. I find that if you put a small piece of electrical tape over the head of the bolt, this will make it so it sticks into the socket a lot better. That way, when you're doing the install, you don't got to worry about it falling out. So make sure you have yourself a nice drill as well. These are self-tapping bolts, so that way you won't have to have any drill bits. All right, now that the battery is installed and in its place, we're gonna get the cabling done. All right, now that the battery is installed, you're gonna wanna hook up some cabling. I'm gonna start off with the CAN connectors. The CAN connector comes off of the charger and the state of charge meter. You're gonna have an oval connection coming off of your charger and some more female oval connections coming off of your state of charge meter. These need to be plugged together in order to get your battery up to full charge. Without plugging these in, your battery is never gonna charge. It does come with 2 different connections you can plug into. You can use either or. I've decided to use the brown and blue connection. I decided to tape off this black and white connection just to keep it up out of the elements. Once you got these plugged in, come on over to the CAN port on the battery and just screw the lock-in nut on. Very easy to do right there, but it is very essential for the install. Without that plugged in, again, you're never gonna get this battery up to charge. Now we can move over to our cabling, and very important, before connecting any cables to the battery, ensure the battery is off. Make sure your cart is in tow if you have a run tow switch. The way I wire my cables, and the way I feel everybody should, is you wanna start by having your voltage reducer, or for my case, our fuse block, then the charger cable, then the main positive, in that order. Definitely tight to get your fingers in here, but not too bad. And the same would go for your negative cables. I would take the negative of my voltage reducer or fuse block, then the negative for my charger, and the negative to go from the cart. All right, so once you get these in there, you're gonna wanna go down with your wrench, tighten down these lugs. And after that, the battery's essentially installed. So, as I mentioned earlier, we already have the charger, voltage converter, and the fuse block installed from our 105 amp video, but we're gonna use the clips from that video in this video to help anybody install their charger, voltage reducer, or even fuse block. Now, Eco provided some nice covers that you can put over your positive, negative cables once they're all tightened down. And then after that, you just want to do some wire management, make sure everything's nice and clean with some zip ties, and then you're up and running. All right, guys, take care.